This is Vanessa Joy with AdoramaTV, and we are getting into the nitty-gritty 9 things you need to know about starting a photography business from scratch. So number 1, when starting your photography business, you have to determine your brand. Now, check last week's video for all about branding, but what I want you to think about here is your photography style. Your photography style is actually one of the most difficult things to hone in on. You know, as a creative, I think, you know, we're a little moody as creatives. We're a little crazy. You know, we like to be one thing one day, and then I'm moody sepia the next, and now I'm all about bright, colorful, and now I'm light and airy the next day. But when it comes to a brand, you have to kind of stick to something. It's not to say that you're going to not take other styles of photography, you know, photographs. You're not going to have that in your repertoire, but you're only going to show the kind of photography that you want to be known for and that you can promise to your clients every single time. It's also going to help your brand be recognized. So hone in on that. It's a process. You're not going to get there right away, but it's something you want to have at the forefront of your mind. Speaking of your branding, you can download this free ebook, 9 Secret Ways to Brand Your Business, and that will help you put your best foot forward on social media and everywhere else. Now, the second thing we're going to talk about starting your photography business, you need to know about pricing. This is huge. You're just starting out, so I get it. You're nervous. You're not confident charging anything. You probably want to shoot for free, but you can't. You're starting a business, not a nonprofit. Do your research, find out what other photographers around you are charging, and then maybe charge something similar or a little bit less if you're not quite up to par on the photography skill side. Here's the key. Do not stay there. Yes, you're going to charge less when you're just starting out because it matches how experienced you are and the level of photography that you have, but you need to grow from there. Do not stay there. Raise your prices as your photography style, brand, business grows. Number 3, and going along with pricing, is determine your payment calendar. Now, for me with weddings, I take a deposit, then I take another little payment 6 months before the job, and then I take a final balance 14 days before. In the world of weddings, this is standard. You get paid before the wedding. Things happen, relationship problems happen, but other people's problems should not cause you to not be able to put food on your table, all right? I know it sounds harsh, but it's the reality of it. So determine a payment calendar, and I highly suggest one that gets you paid before the job, but definitely before you deliver the photos. Stick to it and use a program like 17 Hats or Tave or something that's going to automatically send those invoices so that your clients are reminded, hey, you got to pay that person, and you don't have to do it and go chasing people yourself. All right, number 4, and this is huge. This is like, do not leave home without it. Have contracts. Now, it's pretty easy to find contracts nowadays. You can just go to Google and find a standard photography contract for weddings, for portraits, for whatever. There is a photographer, Rachel Brenke, thelawtog.com, I believe. She's got a lot of good contracts and a lot of good legal information. You have to protect yourself. When you are starting a business, yes, you can be a sole proprietor, but I really recommend that you go and create an LLC for yourself as soon as possible. The reason you create an LLC is so that it separates you personally from your business. So if your business gets sued, they can't like go after your house, all right? Very important. What was the point of this? What was I talking about? Contracts, oh yeah. Have a contract too that covers you. Just make sure you do a contract with your client, contract with any of the people that are freelance working for you. Have contracts and stick to them. The 5th thing we're going to talk about, something extremely boring, is organizing your files, organizing your photos. Now, I know this sounds stupid, but one of the best pieces of advice that actually my husband gave me when I first started out is to develop a system right away. I know you're small, I know you're taking like a job a month maybe, but develop a system that organizes your files and backs them up. You're preventing 2 things from happening, 3 things really. 1, when you start getting busy, you already have a system so you won't get overwhelmed and it will get sloppy. Number 2, you'll have a backup system so you're not losing files. Dear God, don't lose files. And number 3, it helps your overall workflow. So make sure that your workflow is there when you're not too busy, so that when you are really busy, everything's running smoothly and you're not pissing off your clients. And now I haven't even talked about photography yet. I guess I did in the brand, but these are all the things about a business. I'm telling you how to start a photography business. So this is the business side. Number 6, and probably the reason why you clicked on this video, how to find clients. Now, throughout this marketing series that we're doing, I talk a lot about how to find clients through networking, through Instagram, through branding. But if we're going to talk about it here, I I would probably say the best ways that you can find clients if you're just starting out in the photography business is to announce your new business venture everywhere. Talk about it all the time. Talk about the struggles. Talk about, I don't know, talk about it, all right? But what I'd like you to do actually while I take this bite, in the comments, tell me where you get most of your clients from. That's big. And then, everyone else go read all these ideas of, how to find your first client. Number 7, consultations. I was lucky enough to work for another photographer, so I got to eavesdrop on consultations. The biggest thing I can tell you about consultations, I'm not going to give you a script to go with. I actually do have a video here about initial client consultations, but here's what you want to master anytime somebody inquires. Your goal is to be convenient, answer quickly, and be relatable. Those 3 things are going to mean more than your photography, and I hate to say it, I really do. Your clients don't know the difference between good and great photography most of the time, but they know the difference between good and great customer service. They know if you have followed up with them. They know the difference if you're going to be a pain in the tush to work with or you're going to be convenient for them. Find some way to connect with them. Be interested in their business, who they are as people. I don't care what it is. Be someone that they want to be around. Oh, number 8 is taxes. Oh yeah, honey, you gotta pay taxes. You've got to register for sales tax. Now, depending on where you are in the world, it'll be different. Make sure that you're charging the proper amount of sales tax and paying it. But the taxes that I'm really talking about, because this is very deceiving, are your income taxes. When you start out as a photographer, you're getting all this money in, and if you're used to a paycheck where they're taking taxes out for you, it's pretty deceiving. You're getting $1,000 for your job and you're thinking, yeah, I got $1,000 to spend. No, you don't. Depending on your tax bracket, you have about $700 or $600 to spend, or sometimes even $500, depending on where you are in the world. So make sure you are taking at least 30% of every income paycheck payment that you get in, and you're putting it into a separate bank account for income taxes. You do not want to be smacked in the face at the end of the year with a massive bill you have already spent the money for. And then that brings me to my very last thing on starting a photography business: finances. Guys, you gotta have a budget. You can't just buy every little piece of gear that you want. You might need to rent it at Adorama Rentals. We're renting gear today, actually. You might need to rent it. You might not be able to get the latest and greatest thing. Get the job done with what you have. Don't buy a piece of gear because you might have a job later that'll pay for it. That is dumb. But if you don't have that job and then now you're in debt, you're paying more for the thing than if you had just bought it and saved up for it and bought it with cash. You're paying interest charges and whatever. Don't get me on a rant. I'm a Dave Ramsey person, so I follow his method with paying for things in cash, and I highly recommend you do that for your business. But in addition to making sure that you're not going into a crazy amount of debt, I also want you to think about your marketing budget. So you've got 30% going out for your taxes with your finances. I want you to take 10%, and that goes directly back into your marketing budget. Whether that's paying for a meal with a wedding planner, that's a marketing budget, it's a network thing, or it's buying Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube pre-roll ads and add on The Knot or Wedding Wire. Whatever it is that you decide that you need to do for marketing, 10% of your budget goes towards marketing. Now the rest of it's going to go to your cost of sales. Make sure you know how much money you're going to have to spend in order to deliver whatever product you promised your clients. Take that out and put it in a savings account until you need it. The rest of it, congratulations, is profit. Say on a $5,000 wedding, your profit will probably end up being around $2,000-ish. So whatever it is, look at all the percentages and know what's coming out for cost of sales, what's coming out for cost of business, guys. Your insurance for your equipment, your liability insurance, if you're shooting on location, your cost of your website, your cost of any employees, personnel that you need, cost of second shooters, assistants, so many things. Plan it out. Actually, I have another video here on Adorama TV all about pricing. I know I've probably just blown your mind and now you have a headache, but these are the 9 nitty-gritty things that you have to think about when you are starting a photography business. Guys, start it right, base it in good foundation, and then grow from there. Let me get you a little bit of perspective from outside of the United States. I'm going to call Gavin Hoey, and Gavin is going to tell you all about starting a photography business and what he thinks is important. And he's over there in London, England, Australia, Germany. Just kidding. Hey, Hey Gavin, how you doing?
Hi Vanessa, and thanks for having me along.
Yeah, I'm here eating my tuna fish. I'm not eating because I'm filming. Tell me about starting a photography business from scratch.
Yeah, so if I was to give one tip to a photography business starting from scratch, it would be nothing to do with gear, nothing to do with websites or marketing or anything like that. It would be simply this: run your business as a business from day one. So what that means is have some sort of accounting system, be aware of the sort of taxes you're likely to pay, have some insurance, my goodness, that's so important. Whatever it is you need to run a business down the line, you want to have in place from the first day, because that was the mistake I made, and it was a while before we managed to put that right, and it really did get in the way of growing the business.
So many logistics to think about.
And that takes me on to my next tip, which is if you're starting a photography business, don't limit yourself to one thing. Right at the beginning, spread yourself out a little bit, diversify slightly. I mean, just from a business point of view, saying yes to pretty much everything is good for the finances, but also you never know where it's going to lead you further down the road. So the solution is just to take that leap of faith. If you wait until you feel you are ready to take the next step, you've missed the boat. It's already gone, the job has disappeared. You have to take a little bit of a self-confident step into the unknown. Trust me, it's very hard, but you'll grow as a business and you'll grow as a photographer, and that's got to be a good thing.
Thank you. I'm sure everyone really appreciates it. We know that you are the favorite here on Adorama TV. At least that's what the views say. I get comments on my video like, where's Gavin? Wish Gavin was here telling us this.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for having me along, Vanessa, and we'll talk again soon.
I'm Vanessa Joy. I'm going to eat my food. Tell me what it's been like starting a business, and we only had time for 9 things. If you've got other things, throw them in the comments for me. I want to hear more about what you think you need to start a photography business, and if you have questions, please ask them. I'm here for you. I'm going to answer them. And yeah, bye. Thanks for joining me on this 10-week marketing course here on Adorama TV. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a thing. Don't forget to leave comments. Tell me how these things are working for you or aren't working for you, and I will do my best to answer them, give you new suggestions, and really follow along this entire course. So leave the comment, hold the hate, because quite frankly, you're somebody that I don't know, and you're taking shots at me like it's Patron. I ain't trying to mess with your self-expression, but I learned a lesson that stressing and obsessing about somebody else is no fun. Uh-oh.